Well, thank you. I'd like to thank Monsieur de Montbrial for giving me this excellent opportunity to take part in a very interesting discussion on the global governance, on ideas on governance, on the prospects for our world, and what we should do to establish good governance. Now, I have served as president for the last 8 years. I've attended all sorts of meetings and G8s, etc. But I think it's the first time that I am being given an opportunity to speak about and give you my analysis on the world and how it works. Now, let me just say that I'm, how shall I put it, liberal-minded. I am a liberal Democrat, so to speak. I'm saying, in fact, that we shouldn't be so liberal, so free that that the small individuals should be crushed by the larger ones. But I'm talking about liberal market economy, but also implementing programs that some so-called socialists would want to implement. Now, being a liberal Democrat, I feel that we have to not join in the chorus of the prophets of doom. As a liberal-minded individual, I feel that human beings always have what it takes to overcome the difficulties. The outcome will, of course, depend on how we deal with a crisis, but in my view, have what it takes to overcome it. Now, the current financial crisis, which has put us in a state of panic, is not a haphazard event. Now, I'm a neo-Keynesian president. There's not that many of us around. But I feel that given the amounts of money moving across the world, disturbing the economic situation, the significant increase of money supply that is due to the increase in oil prices and the production of OPEC, that would necessarily lead to a problem. Made sense in my view. Now, when I spoke to President Bush recently, President Bush said that he should intervene to support the banks. And I said to President Bush, look, crises happen in the north, but they can be solved in the south. When I read the recent declaration by European leaders on Saturday, there was a reference to reforming the financial system. But the question is, what is the financial system? Where does it reside? I think more important than the financial system, we should look at the international monetary system. And the problem there is that this system was established focusing on the United States. We switched from the gold standard to the dollar standard, for instance. And in a way, the United States was being entrusted with a mission, i.e. providing the world with the reference currency. So there was, of course, going to be a problem. And then in 1971, because there wasn't enough cash for global trade, Nixon put an end to this relationship between the gold standard and the dollar. And it had to happen that the dollar would collapse and the current situation would emerge at some point or other. Now, having the euro and another few currencies emerge on the currency market sort of offset that. So what I'm saying, and I'll just say that again, we have to reform the international monetary system. We have to look at what the new currency standard, the new monetary standard would be, and look at how we would circulate and the different currencies and money supply. Monies should be available to those who need them, rather than those who already have plenty of cash. I used to teach a class on the global monetary system. I used to summarize the situation as follows. There are three people walking on the seafront. One stumbles on a can, and there's cash in the can. How do you share it? One says, well, why don't we split it three ways? The other says, no, we can't do that. I have more needs. I have a wife and children. I need more than that. And the third one says, well, I have more needs, I have a large country, a large family, etc. So they decide to turn to an economist. And they are told to show what we have in the pocket. One has $5, the other has 10, the other $100. And then we should share what you have found according to what you already have in your pockets, because that shows how much money you actually need. Well, that's exactly what happened with the international monetary system. In fact, we were giving more to those who already had much more. So I think that we should look at novel ways of funding development through a reform of the monetary system, the international monetary system. Now, people are now saying that the financial system should be reformed, but the fact is that there is no financial system. There are banks, there are stock exchanges, there's speculation, whatever you want to call it, but there's not a formal structure known as a financial system. It's, in fact, the result of a balance of powers in a way. But the system is really flawed. And it started, of course, in the United States. These people financed the housing market in a most unsustainable way. It brought about bankruptcy in the United States, and it has spread across the world. So I wouldn't call that a system as such. I would just say that this is the result of initiatives taken in the developed and powerful countries. Now, of course, this ties into political decision-making. The people will ask what sort of means we will have to implement these new reforms. Now, at the end of this conference, we will have drawn up a long list of proposals to reform all this, but then we will have to focus on the actual implementation and organize workshops here and there. Now, what is the global political system? Well, the global political system is the UN Security Council, and Africa is not on the Security Council. Now, just think about it for a few seconds. Why is it that Africa, where so many problems occur, is not even represented on the Security Council? Why would it be so much of a problem to have at least one African representative be consulted when we discuss global issues? This would be shed some new light and present a new take on the global situation.